Hello. Hi. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I am lulling Lisa, hoping to lull you into a state of relaxation, sleep, or just entertainment through ASMR. sure we haven't done this. And this says, nobody really likes to dwell on the subject, but take just a moment now to think about what happens to us after we die. Does the soul move on to another world, or is death the absolute and final extinction of the self? Do you believe in heaven and hell, or that the soul is reborn into a new body on earth? People have been wondering about these same questions for thousands of years, but in the end we have to admit that we just don't know. In this life, death remains the greatest mystery of all. Okay, so with that preface, this says, in this scenario, imagine that the soul survives after death. So regardless of your beliefs, let's just imagine this for the purpose of this test. So in this scenario, imagine that the soul survives after death. What form do you imagine it takes once it's freed from the body, from the physical body? So there are 4 examples. Again, 1 to 4. So number 1 is the soul is the same size and shape as its body was in life. Number 2, the soul retains its human form but expands in size. Number 3, the soul is tiny and human-shaped like a fairy. Number 4, the soul is like a ball of flame or a cloud without definite form. I already have 2 in my mind, okay? I'll read them again. So, in this scenario, imagine that the soul survives after death. What form do you imagine it takes once it's freed from the body? So, when the soul leaves the body, what does it look like? Number 1, the soul is the same size and shape as its body was in life. Number 2, the soul retains its human form but expands in size. Number 3, the soul is tiny and human-shaped like a fairy. Number 4, the soul is like a ball of flame or a cloud without a definite form. Do you have your answer? I don't know. This was hard for me. I'll just right away admit that 1 and 2 did not sound like what I imagined. So I was more on the 3 or 4 realm. But let's see. So, the image you have of the soul is a direct reflection of your own self-image. The nature of the soul you pictured shows how you feel about yourself. So, if you said number 1, the soul is the same size and shape as its body was in life, you have one of the most valuable things in the world, self-esteem. You accept yourself, faults and all, and love yourself for what you are. Always keep that same attitude as you go through life and keep discovering how much about you there is to love. So that's quite nice. I just never imagined that it would be the same shape as the body for some reason. So next, if you said number 2, the soul retains its human form but be something in each one that makes every bag unique. So, here's the test. You're getting ready for the day and putting together your things. Besides the bare necessities, which one of the following items do you want to take along with you? Here are the items, 1 to 4 as well. Ready? 1. Your personal organizer or address book. 2. Hairspray or mousse. remember, if these were inaccurate in any way, just know that it's just for fun. Bye. Hi. Hello. Hi. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I am lullling Lisa, hoping to lull you into a state of relaxation, sleep, or just entertainment through ASMR. Sorry, you were blurry for a second. Hi. Today's video is another Kokology test, and I always preface these in case you are new to the channel, new to these tests, what have you, because I really want you to get the most out of these tests. I find them so fun, so informative, and just so interesting. So, this is from my little Kokology book, and this is the game of self-discovery, and it is a series of psychological games or tests designed to reveal your hidden attitudes about sex, family, love, work, and more. So essentially how it works is that I paint a scenario for you. It's sort of like a scenic, scenario-based personality test, if you will. So I paint a scenario for you, and then based on what I have you picture, hopefully you're in a relaxing, calm environment and you're able to picture it, I want you to answer instinctually. So these tests always pose some questions, and based on how you answer, that sort of decodes a deeper meaning, and we sort of reveal what the test is about and then what your answers have to say about you in that specific aspect. And I, of course, always do these tests with you. It's just so much fun that way. I don't want you to do these alone. I like to do them with you. So as I'm reading and painting the scenario for you, I paint it for myself as well. And we go on a little journey, and then we out ourselves and we share our answers. It's really fun. So hopefully you're enjoying these Kokology tests. I personally love them so much, and I can never picture myself not doing them here on my channel. It's just something I've always been passionate about, and yeah, long before I discovered the word Kokology, I was so into just searching these like scenic guided tests. And yeah, I've been doing them for years, so it's so nice to have an audience to do them with. It's just the best. So I think the last test we've done was multiple choice and even like a short one thrown in there. So now I just want to do one long test. I always show you a little bit, but I highlight the ones we've done and the ones we haven't done, and I even wrote categories. So I have drawing ones, long ones, multiple choice ones, and short ones. And my favorite are the long ones, I find, because I like not being restricted to multiple choice sometimes, even though it's good every now and then for someone indecisive like me, but I like the long ones where I can really relax and be in a scenario and imagine things. So I know I'm talking a lot, I'm sorry, but it's what we do here. So this is a longer Kokology test, and this is called The Doctor Will See You Now. So let's get into it, relax, and just surrender yourself to the scenario, and that way we're able to understand ourselves better and the meaning behind this test. So here we go. A hospital means different things to different people. Those coming in to have some undiagnosed malady examined for the first time may look on the place with a sense of anxiety and dread. But for those walking out the door after recovering from a long illness or delivering a beautiful, healthy baby, the hospital takes on associations of happiness and relief. The hospital is a world in and of itself, where life and death, sadness and joy cross paths and intermingle on a daily basis. there. It's a beautiful place. So life, death, sadness, and joy cross paths and intermingle on a daily basis. And for the people within, every day is another chance to heal, not just the body, but the mind as well. Okay. So here's where this test begins. Perhaps you've been to the hospital before, or perhaps this is your first visit. Either way, prepare yourself, because the doctor will see you now. 1. You're in the lobby of a medical clinic, waiting for your name to be called. A small boy is racing around the waiting area unattended, and you warn him to be careful and slow down. How does he react? So as you're waiting for your name to be called in the lobby, you see a small boy racing around the waiting area, running. And you warn him to be careful and slow down. How does he react? Just imagine that. 2. The door to the examination room is open, just a crack, and you catch a glimpse of a gray and unhealthy looking person being examined by the doctor. The patient is a person you know. Who is it? I'll read that again. 2. The door to the examination room is open just a crack, and you catch a glimpse of a gray and unhealthy looking person being examined by the doctor. The patient is a person you know. Who is it? That's difficult. Okay. 3. The doctor's aide comes out and calls your name. Strangely, the aide bears a very strong resemblance to someone you know. Whom does the aide look like? So 3, the doctor's aide comes out and calls your name. Suddenly, the aide bears a very strong resemblance to someone you know. Whom does the aide look like? Okay. And 4. After your examination, the doctor calls you into his office, but when you enter, he remains seated with his back turned to you, muttering to himself as he goes over your chart. He shows no signs of explaining things to you. What do you do? So 4, after your examination, the doctor calls you into his office, but when you enter, he remains seated with his back turned to you, muttering to himself as he goes over your chart. He shows no signs of explaining things to you. What do you do? Okay, that was interesting. Now I think here's where things will really get interesting. Okay, just this page. But the test is over. Hopefully you answered instinctually, so hopefully you didn't give it too much thought. That was kind of hard for me to do, I'll admit. Question 2 kind of caught me off guard, but okay, so here's the key to the doctor. We'll see you now. So I'll reveal what your answers mean and I'll share my answers too, okay? So, the hospital is a place of sickness and healing. By visualizing yourself in the scenario, you tapped into those parts of your own psychology that feel weak or in need of care. Interesting. Okay, so let's see what this means. So, question number 1 was, remember there was the little boy running around and we told the little boy to be careful? So, based on what the little boy did or said, here's what it means. So 1, the boy's reaction shows how you react when others criticize you or notice your faults. Did he act as though he couldn't hear you, stop in his tracks and apologize, or stick out his tongue like a spoiled brat? Now you know how other people feel. when others criticize you or notice your faults. Okay, what did you say? I think I imagine it very literally. So like if I were to tell, I don't think I'd ever tell a little kid to slow down unless I was genuinely worried that he would hurt himself. But I just imagined him being like a little bit like nervous, like, okay, like, you know, just a little bit like kind of caught off guard because it's probably uncomfortable being like reprimanded by a stranger. So I just kind of pictured him to be like, okay, but like not necessarily slowing down, at least maybe in front of me, but then maybe continuing on. So that's interesting. Okay, next, so 2. So let's see what number 2 was. I think it was the one that caught me off guard. Oh yeah. So 2 was the door to the examination room is open a crack and you catch a glimpse of a gray and unhealthy looking person. It's someone you know. Who is it? So I was kind of thinking like it can't be my immediate family. Like it can't be my like grandfather or something because I would know if they were in that hospital. So I kind of just imagined like an old person, like a really old person that maybe like my parents know. So for number 2, it says, the person you imagined as the patient on the exam table is someone you feel you could never rely on in a crisis. After all, how much help could they be if they look that much sicker than you? I mean, clearly I wouldn't rely on anyone my parents know. Yeah, so that's accurate, but it's so strange. Who did you picture? You know, at first I almost wanted to picture either my grandma or my grandpa, my nana or nana, but then I was like, but if they were at the hospital, like I would know about it. So then I just tried to picture some random person, so it was kind of difficult for me. Okay, was that accurate for you? I wonder. Okay, 3. So remember, the doctor's aide comes and calls your name, and strangely, they bear a strong resemblance to someone you know. Who does the aide look like? So I said it looked like my husband. I don't know why he's the first person I thought of. So 3. The doctor's aide represents someone with the power to decide your fate. The person you thought the aide resembled is someone you have always looked up to, out of either fear or respect. No matter how strong you may someday become, that person will always be above you in your mind. It might have to do with the person's power to say, now drop your pants, bend over, and cough. What the heck? I don't know if that's so accurate because I don't see myself looking up to my husband. I see us as being equals. So that's interesting. I don't know. I just think I pictured like someone being his age and of his appearance. It was the only person in my life I can think of. Okay, that's funny. I need to know who you said for number 3. That's probably really strange and funny. Yeah, interesting. I wouldn't say that's accurate or inaccurate. I mean, it is what it is in that case. Okay, finally, question number 4. So remember, the doctor is being strange. They call you into the office and suddenly they're turned, going over your chart and showing no signs of explaining things to you. What do you do? So I think I said something like, usually I'm a very quiet and patient person, but they essentially said they show no signs of explaining things to you. So assuming I waited for a while, I think I would just be like, hey doctor, is everything all right? Like, you know, kind of make light of it. So, number 4. The way you responded to the doctor's behavior shows how you handle being bullied or teased. Some prefer to wait things out, others demand an explanation, and some just get up and walk out. What did you do? So I waited, and then I kind of like, I guess I like sort of made light of it, like I teased back, like, hey doc, everything okay? And I think maybe that's accurate because I feel like, so my sister, okay, in the time being, I live at home with my sister and my husband, and her fiance comes over. It's like a madhouse in here right now until I move, which is happening next year. But, so my sister's fiance, he is like, they've been together for 11 years and he's younger than me, but he's like a bigger guy and he feels like an annoying little brother, but at the same time he's like, you know, the brother. I always wanted, but also never wanted. So we tease each other a lot because we both have a really sick sense of humor. So like he'll say things to me and I'll say things right back. Like it just comes out. And I think in response to being bullied or teased, like I'll feel out the scenario, and if I feel like it's someone I can joke with or tease back, I'll just give it right back to them. So I think that was accurate. I don't know, was this test accurate? So it says, the hospital is a place of sickness and healing. By visualizing yourself in this scenario, you tapped into those parts of your own psychology that feel weak or in need of care. So interesting. I think every little answer was both a little accurate and a little inaccurate. Like, yeah, you know? Based on what I said, I'm sure you can sort of gather how I felt about this. How did you feel about this? I wouldn't say this was inaccurate at all, but I wouldn't say like, oh my god, I was blown away. It was kind of both. But it was hard for me. Sometimes I always tell you, be instinctual, don't give it too much thought. Sometimes say something, even if it doesn't make sense, right? So maybe if I would have pictured like my grandmother or grandfather there, even if it didn't make sense, maybe in the case of this test, it would have made sense. Do I feel like I can rely on my grandparents? Probably not. So that would have made sense. So yeah, very interesting test. I swear next time we do this, I will try to not think so logically and I'll just say whatever comes to my mind. I think sometimes I have a fear of like not giving something too much thought and then having it be inaccurate for that reason. But sometimes I think these tests, like once it paints the picture, you just have to go with the first thing that comes to your mind. So, I mean, let me know your approach to these, but I always overthink. Anyway, I have this random side note, but I have this candy corn here. I bought this today. I love candy corn, and it's like 'tis the season, so I'm just like, I just bought it, and it's been sitting here. It's all sealed up, and I do want to give it a little bite to eat. So I think I'm gonna close the video and do that. Do you like candy corn? Let me know. I'll probably be talking about that in a video coming up soon. I think maybe I'll try to incorporate it somehow. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. Happy October. It is the season to eat candy corn if you like it. Most people, I understand, don't, but season to watch scary movies, eat candy corn, I always say, but I'm such a holiday person, so I love to like really immerse myself in these things. I wish I could find a Kokology test that was spooky. I'm gonna have to search this book. I don't think there's any, unless I can find one online somehow, but it would be nice to do like a haunted house Kokology test for October. I really want to get in the mood and make videos and do things like that are of the season, so yeah, let me know what you'd like to see, and I'll be happy to film that for you all. But until next time, thank you so much for being here. I hope you are enjoying yourself. October is fun for us Canadians because we have our Thanksgiving in October. So, depending on when this comes out, I'll either be celebrating or have already celebrated, maybe. And yeah, our Thanksgiving this year is quite early. It's October 7th to the 9th or 10th. So yeah, usually my family and I rent a cottage, a cabin, if you call it that, and on a lake, and we have a really good time. So we're doing that this year as well. And maybe by now it's already been done, but as I'm filming this, no. But hopefully it's a really good time. I always have fun. My older sister has a baby now, so the baby will be coming. And my parents, even though they are not together, they are coming together. So it should be a lovely time. So it will be my sisters, their husbands or fiancés, the baby, and my parents. And Luna, of course, is coming too. So it should be a good time. I always want to bring Luna in here when I'm filming. Trust me, like I know she'd be so cute just sitting on my bed. But there's so many. Look, did you hear that?
noises in the condo that if she were to hear that in here, right away she'd get up and she'd go to the edge of the bed and she'd say, let me out. So I tried to film when she's not around, only for her sake. Otherwise, I would love for her to be around. She's so cute, and if there were no noises, she would just sleep peacefully. So yeah, side note, but that's what it's like for me. Sometimes after these tests, I get a little chatty because I feel like maybe I'm revealing parts of myself to you, and I just want to chat with you. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. I will let you go now, but if you're on your way to bed, I wish you sweet dreams, happy relaxation, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye. Bye, 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 bye. Bye. Sweet dreams. Good night. Good night, good night. Hi. Hello. Hi. Welcome back to my channel. Or if you're new here, welcome. I am Lulling Lisa, hoping to lull you into a state of relaxation, sleep, or just entertainment through ASMR. Hi. I always whisper these intros lately, and now I want to talk with my voice. So, we're back with another Kokology test, but this test is going to be a little bit different. And I don't know which one we're going to do yet, but I made myself a little legend, so this one is probably called Written in the Stars. Have we done this one? Okay, we haven't. I think we'll do maybe a couple drawing ones. We'll see. I have a whiteboard here, so I'm going to be drawing with you as well. So let me read what the test is about and see what this entails. But just so you know, this Kokology test essentially is a series of psychological games designed to reveal your hidden attitudes about sex, family, love, work, and more. So usually these are scenario-based questionnaires, but this time we're going to be drawing. So if you can get a paper and a pen, that would be even better. But I mean, if you have like an iPad or something to draw on, of course, by all means. So essentially, I'm going to paint the picture for you. We're going to draw, and then we're going to analyze our drawing and what that means about us. Ready? Okay, so this drawing test is called Written in the Stars. When you look up into star-filled sky at night, sometimes it's possible to lose yourself in the infinite depths of space. We may be aware of their vast distances from Earth, yet the stars still look like friendly messengers and grantors of dreams when we see them twinkling in the dark. As the hours grow late, it's a comfort to look up and have their distant power to draw upon. Now for this game, you'll need a paper and a pencil. I have my whiteboard here. So, first, draw 3 stars of different sizes. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, just going to color it in. Okay. Ta-da! Let's see what's next. It's just a 2-part thing, so Next, draw a comet's tail on one and only one of your stars. This is hard for me. Is that what a comet's tail looks like? I don't know. Okay. Spoiler alert, if you don't have a pen and a paper, I think you can honestly visualize this one because the test is done. That's it. So, let's see what this means. I don't know. Okay. Is it just this page? Yes. Okay. So, here is the key to Written in the Stars. So it says, the stars combine a glittering image of the power to grant wishes and make dreams come true with a sense of distance and unattainability. Stars determine our present and give a hint of things to come. Your drawing illuminates your work life in general and your current career path in particular. Interesting. So, number 1, the largest straw you drew represents the job you hold now, its potential and its disappointments. If the difference in size between that star and the other two is not very great, it signifies dissatisfaction or at least disinterest in your career, a willingness to shop around and keep your options open. Watch for the unexpected call from a headhunter. They have ways of finding these things out. Interesting. On the other hand, if your job star is much larger than the others, so much larger, not very similar, it indicates you're deeply absorbed and committed to your current path. Your concern should be not to fall into the trap of workaholism. Workaholism? That just looks like a weird word. Workaholism. All work and no play is no way to live.
All work and no play makes Lisa a dull girl.
So that was for number 1, so just your 3 stars. Next is how you drew the comet's tail in one. So let's see what this means.
In cultures throughout history and around the world,
comets have been seen as harbingers of disaster and cataclysmic change. The star you gave a comet's tail represents trouble looming on the horizon.
if it's on one of the smaller stars,
You're in luck. The heavens have overlooked you for now. But if your largest star is a comet, it may be time for you to bring your resume up to date.
The stars never lie. So I will admit,
in my mind, I visualized drawing the comet
on this star.
So all my stars, I would say, are pretty similar in size. But for some reason, I just wanted to draw it on the largest star in the end. Oh, I have to stop second guessing myself. It's to my own detriment.
So basically, let's get a little personal.
So I consider this my job in my mind right now, like what I was thinking about. I'm thinking about this channel a lot.
And lately I've been struggling because my channel is
Nowhere near where I wanted it to be, like in the beginning of the year compared to now.
I don't know, it's just nowhere near what I thought it would be.
My growth is so slow, and like the past, I would say 2-3 months, my subscribers have been so slow growing, and it's just been very like disappointing for me in a lot of ways, and it's really made me like re-examine what I'm doing here. Not to give you any fear or anything, I don't anticipate leaving anytime soon, but
it almost makes me feel like I'm lacking
like a purpose in a way of like, what am I doing? Like maybe I'm not cut out for this. Like, I don't know. I feel so bad to say that because if you're here and watching this, you obviously feel pretty invested in me, but
I don't know, just lately I've been questioning that, so maybe this is a sign.
I don't know what this means. But if your largest star is a comet, it might be a good time for you to bring your resume up to date. The stars never lie. So it's interesting. Yeah, I've just been feeling bad about myself, I guess, you know? In regards to this ASMR channel.
Just wiping it away.
So yeah, maybe this test was accurate for me. I kind of hope not, but at least this is an accurate representation of how I'm currently feeling. So
yeah, that's kind of sad for me.
Okay, that was one of the drawing tests. So I think I can mark that off as finished. Done. Dun dun dun. Dun dun dun. Let's do another one. Let's be a little happier, shall we? Okay. So, based on my legend here, I think this is the last drawing test. Welcome to my parlor. I don't think we've done these two, and I think these are the last two. So it's kind of appropriate that we do them today. So 1 or 2. So the last drawing test, at least on this book. It sounds familiar because I feel like we've done a spider web one. But I don't think we've done this one. Let's do it, okay? Then tell me if I'm losing my mind. Okay, so this is called Welcome to My Parlor. And this says, in the human unconscious, spiders hold a place of fear and respect that's entirely out of proportion to their tiny size. Perhaps it's their skill in hunting, their patience when lying awake, or their ability to weave devious webs to trap their prey. Whatever the reason, spiders evoke a strong mixture of feelings in all of us. I'm getting like deja vu. Maybe we've done this. Okay. Imagine you are a spider sitting at the center of a large web you have found. You'll need a paper and a pencil for this quiz. I'm so sorry if we've done this, guys. I really apologize, but this is the last drawing test, and I don't think we've done it. I don't know. Okay. Draw a picture of your web and the number and types of insects you have trapped in it. Okay? Draw a picture of your web and the number and types of insects you have trapped in. Okay, so, well, let's try to concentrate. Okay, so, number 1, there's 2 things that we have to draw here. So, draw a picture of your web and the number and types of insects you have trapped in it. That doesn't sound familiar to me. Okay. Okay, I'll be drawing, and so will you, I'm sure. I just remember drawing a spider, but maybe not a spider web, I don't know. This is kind of hard because I feel bad to trap things in my web. And I'm drawing things that I know how to draw, but I don't want this to actually be in my web. You're probably like, what the heck are you talking about? I don't know. Okay. Okay, I think I'm done. If you need more time, you can just pause this. So that said, draw a picture of your web and the number and types of insects you have trapped in it. Now number 2, you move to make a meal of one of your prey, but somehow it frees itself from the web and escapes. As it hurries out of reach, the lucky bug says something to you. What are its parting words? You move to make a meal of your prey, but somehow it frees itself. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna let this one. Oh, which one do I want to escape? I kind of want both. Maybe I'll just pick this one. I'll put a circle around the one that I want to escape. What are its parting words as it escapes? I kind of have an idea, but not necessarily exact words. So, this is my web. I have like a little fly, a little fruit fly, a ladybug, which I feel bad about, and a butterfly, which I feel bad about. I should feel bad about everything, but I guess that's that. So yeah, I have 4 bugs, and they're all different types. Okay, now let's find out what this means, because now I'm sure we haven't done this test, and I don't know what the heck this means, so. Welcome to my parlor. And I do love spiders and feel bad for them, so I mean, of course I would feel bad to see anything struggling in a spider web, but I then would feel bad for a hungry spider, so. Yeah, so the spider is one of the great hunters of the natural world. Your impressions of life as a spider show us something about how you see your experience as a hunter in the wilds of love. Wow. 1. The number and types of bugs you drew corresponds to your own love conquests. The web represents your strategies and techniques for luring others into your clutches, while the types of bugs that you caught reflect your opinion of your former lovers. Was it a single comment? common housefly, a lovely butterfly that only leaves you hungry afterwards, perhaps a fat, juicy caterpillar, or maybe an unappetizing mass of mosquitoes, roaches, and worms. What the hell? Sorry. Some spiders will eat anything. I'm freaking out because this is so accurate, even in terms of what I drew and when. Okay, this is really messed up, guys. Honestly, these are exactly my ex-boyfriends. Okay, so before my husband, I had 4 serious loves of my life. I'm totally outing myself, but whatever. The first one I drew was a simple fly. The next one I drew was a beautiful butterfly. The third one I drew was a ladybug, and I love ladybugs and butterflies. And the last one was like a little fruit fly. I'm sorry, I'm like laughing way too much. Okay, maybe I'll explain this a little bit after for you. Okay, so basically, so as I said, so essentially it represents your strategies and techniques for luring others into your clutches, while the types of bugs you caught reflect your opinion of your former love as well. I don't know what this says about my strategies and techniques because they're just like randomly there, and I didn't even draw myself as the spider anywhere. I think I just imagined that I was in the center. Sorry about that, okay? So that is so true, but before I go on about this, let's see what number 2 means, because maybe I'll just talk really long about that. Okay, so number 2. The parting words of the bug that got away are your memories of rejection in a failed conquest. Let's face it, we've all been shot down at one time or another. This game shows the words that hit closest home. You'll never catch me, you ugly old spider. Ouch. Better luck next time. Well, thanks for the encouragement. Hooray, I'm free. Okay, you're free, but you didn't have to be quite so happy about it. I forgot about the parting words. Okay, no parting words came to my mind, but I had the overwhelming feeling that the bug that got away was giving me like thank you for letting me go, but like there was like a sadness there. This is so odd. Okay, I'm going to really reveal myself to you because I don't think I've ever talked about like exes with you. And so here's all my relationships literally in a freaking picture and how I drew them, okay? Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. This is the one that got away. So weird. Okay, so I hope you don't mind now that I've read about you. If you want to exit this video because you only cared about, your answers, that's fine, honestly. But basically, so my first relationship, I was basically like turning 17, 18, and all my exes were always 6 years older, except for one that was 12 years older, okay? So I've always liked older men. Now that I'm with my husband, the irony is that he's literally 6 days younger than me, so same year, but 6 days younger. It's just weird, especially the number 6, and I don't know. Anywho, so my first boyfriend, and by the way, all these exes, I've broken up with all of them. But I've hurt myself a lot in doing so. Like, it's caused me a lot of pain, believe me. So the first relationship I had, when we broke up, I think it was after like 2 years, 2.5 years. When we broke up, it's because I really just saw him as a friend. Like, I didn't have any like romantic feelings towards him whatsoever. It was my first relationship, so it was kind of difficult. Yeah, so it was a really hard breakup, and I didn't do things the right way. I was so young, and we still saw each other a lot for like a time being. Even his mom, who like loved me, she didn't know we had broken up until like literally 6 months after. Because I would still go over all the time. I was crazy, okay? But I was young and I just did weird things, but I always just felt so like bad for him, and I didn't want to like leave him. I don't know, it's really weird. Next. And then I didn't get into a relationship until 3 years after that. It was literally pretty much 3 years exactly, and I didn't see anyone else. Nothing else, okay? And by the way, without being TMI, but who cares, maybe this is juicy, but I've only ever slept with these men, okay? So they're all meaningful to me in that sense. Next is the butterfly. And so this relationship is very interesting to me because he was from a long distance country, like so long distance. maybe I'll just say it in case any of you are from there. He was from Luxembourg. And yeah, it was like a whirl. I don't know, in many ways, like he was a butterfly, but he made me a butterfly, which is so funny that I drew that. So the first one was the common fly, your typical. The next, he was a butterfly, so like he was such a beautiful person, and like we loved each other so much. And we dated for only like a little over a year, but in many ways, like that was the most significant relationship to me ever. And yeah, so it's interesting that this one I set free because I really did like set him free. And it's because like I was too young to understand that like the passion that you have, I thought like the passion died, so that means like the relationship's over, but I was too young to understand that passion is like a roller coaster. So in your life, like passion comes and it goes and it comes, and so that's just life. So you're not always going to be like crazy, like, you know, horny teenagers who are like, you know, I don't know, very hard to explain. Sorry if I'm being graphic and TMI, but yeah, so I essentially broke up with him because I wanted like a really fiery, like something that felt like it was missing in that department, but him as a person, and the weird thing is like looking back, like he was just wonderful, perfect, romantic, like everything that you'd want in a partner, this person had. And I was too young and like stupid to fully understand that. So I have no regrets because I'm happily married now and I found my soulmate, the person I'm supposed to be with. But yeah, I just, you know, hindsight is 20/20, and like also the distance, everyone, just so you know, it didn't make it easier because like I never had intentions to live in Luxembourg, and it would have been difficult to have him come here, but that was sort of like where I was coming from, and I think he resented that I would want him to come here, but I wouldn't have considered ever going there, you know what I mean? And like he probably would have come here for me, but anyway, I was young at the time. He was also 6 years older than me, but he taught me everything, like my love of travel and like exotic cuisine, and he just brought that out of me so much. He was an incredible person, just fantastic. And like after we broke up, we never spoke to each other again. So it's kind of sad in a way, but I suppose like I also respect that a lot because nothing is like makes me feel more sick than like thinking of someone I love talking to an ex. I just find that so icky for myself. So just moving the light a little bit. So yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting. I could talk so much about this kind of stuff, but like, is that appropriate? I don't know. So yeah, this was the butterfly one that got away, and I don't remember what I had it say, but as I said, it was kind of like a bittersweet thing, and yeah, he was just such a beautiful person, and like the good qualities that I have in my husband, like I appreciate them because I've had them in past partners, and also bad qualities from other people. I knew what to stay. I'll talk about that in a second. Anyways, the next relationship, not the butterfly, the ladybug. So after that long distance relationship, I got into another long distance relationship with someone from Rome. This person was 12 years older than me. And in many ways, this person felt very young. And I love ladybugs too, so it's interesting, like the ones I assigned to each person unknowingly. And I love ladybugs too because I feel like they're like lucky. And so in that relationship, I kind of got what I was like searching for. It was more like the spontaneity and like the exciting stuff, but like it was also very difficult because I like to say that passion is a double-edged sword. So with the good stuff comes like the really bad stuff too. In the end, we were together for, I believe, about 2.5 years, and I broke up with him because I realized that that was it. Like we had our chance, and I couldn't live there because I just couldn't leave my family. As much as like Rome is my favorite city, couldn't leave my family, and he could never come here because he was like the one Italian with a good job. I feel like a lot of them want to come to Canada or the States, etc., but I couldn't do it, and he was just so old. So I was like, no, like you have to, move on with your life, etc. So this person I know is happily, moved on, and I'm actually happy for them, because when you really love someone a lot, like, you want them to be happy. So it's interesting. So that's the ladybug. And lastly, we have the fruit fly. So the fruit fly was my last relationship before my husband. And this relationship was probably the most tumultuous, because although this person was a good boyfriend to me, like, I was treated really well in all my relationship. I was always treated really well, but this person, I think, had anger issues and was just a little bit immature and, like, projecting a lot of things onto me. And I think this relationship lasted 3 years, so my longest, but honestly my least significant. So I think in this relationship, it was actually my job to teach them, because I feel like in all relationships, you're either the one learning or the one teaching. And sometimes when you find the right person, you can grow and learn and teach each other, I feel like that's what I have with my husband. But this one, I feel like I had to teach him a lot. So I think for his next partner that he's with, I hope he's learned a lot from me. I like to think that I leave people much better off than when I found them. So I definitely taught this person a lot. In the 2 relationships before, I learned a lot. I mean, I even taught a little bit to the relationship before this person, but definitely the butterfly relationship, I learned so much. I was even taught, like, what it means to really be loved in that, like, really romantic, like, whirlwind of a way, just, like, so special. So yeah, the little fruit fly one was probably my least significant in terms of growth, but it actually did teach me things that I don't want in a partner. And I realized that if you're not at peace with someone, it is the worst thing. I just saw a quote on this where it's like, the worst prison is like when you're not at peace. And I never felt at peace with this person. And it took me a long time to break up with this person, because I felt like I didn't want to leave them when they're down. But I realized, I'm like, they're always going to be down. Like, what the heck am I waiting for? If you feel like that, I'm going to just be erasing this. If you are in a relationship where you don't feel at peace, but you have the guilt of leaving them, I assure you, they're going to be fine after you, okay? They're going to move on, and they're going to be fine. And maybe they'll grow and learn from you. Maybe they'll project their problems onto another relationship, but the most important thing is that you're happy and that you're at peace. I never went so in depth about talking about any ex-relationships before, just out of respect for my husband, and like, I don't know. But you know what? Like, life is short, and I love knowing this about other people. And I feel like your relationships really make you grow a lot, and they really are so formative. And look, I've been in relationships from basically like 17 until now. I'm married. And so it's been many, many years, you guys, many, many years. And yeah, it's just so interesting. This test, I think, was the most accurate test I've ever done, because I literally like drew my dating history like without even knowing it. So it's pretty actually crazy. You have to let me know if this was accurate for you, because it blew my mind. And I'm realizing, like, looking at the timing, I think I talked about my exes for like 10 minutes, but I hope you found it entertaining and juicy. My husband doesn't watch my ASMR videos, so he'll never find this. Not that I said anything bad or disrespectful, but yeah, the funny part is I almost drew another creature, little insect, because I don't really like the number 4, but I just didn't want to draw another one. I actually went with my instincts for once, and it was so accurate. So yeah, those are all the drawing tests in this Kokology book in particular. We have done, I think, 2 or 3 drawing tests in the past. We do still have quite a few tests left to do together. But there is books. I'm going to have to buy it for us when we run out, and I'm sure there will be lots more drawing tests in there. But honestly, I really like this one a lot. And talking to you guys about this was very healing for me. I don't know. I just feel like sometimes I have so much to say about relationships. I feel like I've been through so much, particularly like long distance. Like, I'm in Canada, so to be in a long distance relationship with someone from Luxembourg and then someone from Rome, like that was, a long flight away. Yeah, there's a lot I can talk to you about. If you're ever at all interested in anything to do with relationships, give me some ideas in the comments below. I'll be happy to share with you guys, especially because I feel like a lot of you are quite young as well, and I'm sure you're going through it all right now, and it's just such an interesting time. Like, it's amazing even me to look back at how much I've grown from when I was a teenager, and just thinking like the things that I did, and it's just so interesting, and I would love to give you all some good relationship advice. I really would, because like I have the fortune of having sisters, and I had like some cousins, and sometimes like I get like relationship advice through that. But if you don't have anyone, like I would be happy to be that person for you. There's a lot of good things I could probably say to you. So please let me know. This Kokology test completely took a totally unexpected turn that I did not foresee. From thinking I had already done this test to like blowing my own mind. Wow. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. Hopefully you enjoyed the end rambling. Oh my gosh. And yeah, that was just my life history up until now. So, thank you for being here. And remember, if you're not in a relationship or are not interested in a relationship, maybe that last test didn't apply to you, and it's okay. But yeah, relationships are just so interesting. They're just, they really did affect me so much in my life. And yeah, there's so much I could go back, and I would like to relive some moments and things like that just for like pure nostalgia's sake, because when it's done, it's done. It's interesting because when a relationship is over, it almost feels like you're mourning the loss of someone, but the person didn't die. It's really interesting. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. I'm so happy that you're here, and I do look forward to doing more of these tests soon. I'm so curious to know what you're going to say in the comments. I'm just so curious. Bye. Sweet dreams if you're off to bed. Good night, and thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate you more than you know. Hi. Hello. Hi. Welcome back to my channel. But if you're new here, welcome. I am Lulling Lisa, hoping to lull you into a state of relaxation, sleep, or just entertainment through ASMR. Hi. Guess what we're back with? Another imagination personality test video or visualization test video. I'm not sure, but I think we are done this Kokology book. I think we have in us 2 to 3 tests left, depending if the third is a repeat or not. So we're going to finish the book today, which is kind of sad, but also exciting because we'll start something new. But yeah, so based on my notes, I think we only have 3 tests left, and I think one of them I put a question mark, so let's see. But we'll get to the one for sure that we haven't done yet. So, just to preface, I hope that you're relaxing and ready to take this test, because this requires you to use your imagination or to visualize the scenario at hand. And essentially, Kokology is a series of psychological games or tests designed to reveal your hidden attitudes about sex, family, love, work, and more. And I always do these tests with you, so I'm just as excited as you, and I will be just as revealing. So please share your answers if you care to do so in the comments down below, because those are always fun to read through. Now, this test is called Ready to Rumble. toe to toe in the ring. Mountains of muscle and bone square off for the fight of the century. The wrestlers glower, or the glower, with menace and pace like caged beasts. Let me know if I pronounced that right either time. I think it's glower, maybe. Anyway, the crowd roars with an anticipation as its most aggressive fantasies are about to be played out. No other sporting event has the elemental appeal of professional wrestling. We may laugh about it or shake our heads, but its popularity endures. Now comes the part of the test where it's the question, and these are multiple choice, so they'll give you 4 answers to choose from, and then we'll analyze them. But with that in mind, it says, if you had the chance to jump over that 3rd rope just for one night, what type of wrestler would you be? It's funny for me to imagine, but let's see. Here are your options. So if you could be in the cage wrestling, what would you be? 1. A giant bruiser who bashes opponents into submission through sheer strength. 2. A technical wizard who invents elaborate cliches, drop kicks, and slams for each new opponent you face. 3. A villain type who resorts to illegal holds and banned objects every time the ref's back is turned. Or 4. An expressionless masked wrestler who never shows emotion or pain. So, now that you have all the options, I'll just quickly read them to you again before you make your decision, but try to be instinctual about this, so maybe don't always go with what makes sense necessarily. 1. A giant bruiser who bashes opponents into submission through sheer strength. 2. A technical wizard who invents elaborate clinches. I think it's clinches. Maybe I said cliches. Clinches, drop kicks, and slams for each new opponent you face. 3. A villain type who resorts to illegal holds and banned objects every time the ref's back is turned. Or 4. An expressionless masked wrestler who never shows emotions or pain. Do you have your answer picked out? I'm struggling between 2, so we'll see which applies the most. I know that's cheating, but we'll see. Okay, so here is the key to Ready to Rumble. So let's see what the heck this means. Sports are a socially acceptable expression of natural human aggression, but on a deeper level, they also represent a sublimation of the sex drive. And pro wrestling, with its wild abandon, its glorification of the body, its raw humanity, and its naked aggression, has closer links to sex than any other sport. The type of wrestler you said you'd become shows the type of partner you are in bed. Okay, so if you chose number 1, a giant bruiser who bashes opponents to submission through sheer strength, you insist on having things your way, like the fighter who reduces his foe to a quivering mass. You take control of your partners and bend them to do your bidding without a second thought. It may sound brutal and animalistic, but then we aren't talking about a game of tiddlywinks, are we? I didn't think this was going to be so sexual. Did you choose number 1? If you chose number 2, a technical wizard who invents elaborate clinches, drop kicks, and slams for each new opponent you face, this says you enjoy trying out new tricks and techniques with with each new partner. Part of the excitement in the game of love is generated by the freedom it gives you to express your creativity. You love to home in. I think you wanted to say hone in, but it said home in on your partner's most sensitive spot, then go in for the kill. So this was one of the two that I picked. Let's see if this one or 3 is more accurate. Because I will admit, although I would never typically want to be the villain. I think it would be fun to act like the villain if I were a wrestler, because let's face it, I'm never going to be a pro wrestler. So, I think ultimately I chose the villain one, but number 2 also really called to me. It made more sense, number 2, but I wanted to pick number 3. To not, anyway, okay, be quiet. So, number 3 says, a villain type who resorts to legal holds and banned items every time the ref's back is turned. This means you can't be satisfied in making love by the book. You're always looking for new sensations, and you're not afraid to break a few rules or introduce some forbidden objects to get what you want. Now just put down that folding chair before somebody gets hurt. Okay, no comment. Number 4. An expressionless masked wrestler who never shows emotion or pain. If you chose this says you don't like to reveal your true self, even in the most intimate encounters. There's an aura of mystery to your love-making style, almost an eerie sense of calm. This tactic can drive some partners wild with curiosity or leave them feeling cold. But there will always come the day when your mask is finally torn away. Are you prepared to confront the face concealed beneath it? Okay, so was this accurate for you? The fun part about these tests is I never know what the heck they're going to be about. And the answers are always, the meaning, I should say, is always surprising. And my answers are always surprising, but I will say, I definitely didn't have answer 1 or 4 on my radar, and those were definitely not me, so I would say that 2 and 3 were the most like me, without being too revealing. Now we have 2 tests left, and I have to see if we've done them, so let's see, 135. The labyrinth. The labyrinth. Okay, I don't think we've done this. But if we have, I'm also going to do another one after this that I'm also not sure if we've done. So I won't leave you hanging with just one test, so we'll see. But anywho, this test is called the labyrinth. Let's return once again to the amusement park to continue our explorations into the attractions of the unconscious mind. You're already familiar with some of the rides, the dizzying excitement of the roller coaster, and the good-natured thrills of the merry-go-round. See, I did these tests in no particular order, so maybe when I get the second book, I'll try as much as I can to go in order, because I think they are implying that we've been through certain tests, which realistically at this point we have, but yeah. So, the House of Horrors still lies waiting, but that's best left for couples to explore. How about a walk through the labyrinth instead? Okay, now here's where the question comes in. You found your way through the giant maze and are standing at the exit. Which of these statements best describes how you feel? So after going through the labyrinth, or I would say the maze, you're at the exit, so finally completing this course that was maybe difficult. Which statement best describes how you feel? Multiple choice, that's all we seem to have left right now. But the new book I'm excited for because it will have more, okay, okay, pick number 1. That was easy. I was done in no time. What a piece of cake. Number 2. Well, it took a while to get through, but looking back, I guess it was really no big deal. Number 3. Boy, was I lost. For a while there, I thought I was never going to get out. Number 4. I hooked up with a group of people inside, and they showed me the way out. Otherwise, I might still be in there. I always have 2 in mind. Okay, I'm going to try my best to pick one, but let's read these again. Okay, so. As you are about to exit the giant maze, what do you say? 1. That was too easy. I was done in no time. What a piece of cake. 2. Well, it took a while to get through, but looking back, I guess it was really no big deal. 3. Boy, was I lost. For a while there, I thought I was never going to get out. 4. I hooked up with a group of people inside, and they showed me the way out. Otherwise, I might still be in there. I'm going to explain my answers. Sometimes multiple choice is limiting. But anywho, okay, so here's the key to the labyrinth. So what does this test really mean? The winding and circuitous paths of a maze represent the path you find for yourself in life, with all its false turns, backtracking, and dead ends. And adolescence is the time in life when it's easiest to feel lost and confused. Your experience in the labyrinth corresponds to the way you remember spending the years leading up to adulthood. Interesting. Okay, if you chose number 1, that was too easy. I was done in no time. What a piece of cake. This means, although many people look back on their teenage years as a time of stress and confusion, for you it was nothing but fun. Lucky you. You weren't consumed with soul-searching or traumatized by peer pressure. Actually, the whole experience was like one big party. Of course, that may mean your true test in life still lies ahead. If you chose 2, well, it took a while to get through, but looking back, I guess it was really no big deal. Your school days were not easy for you, and it's more than likely you've spent many a night worried over the same problems we all did: love, friendship, and the future. But that experience has helped to forge you into the person you are, and the lessons you learn will sustain you through any difficult times to come. This was one of the 2 answers I chose, but I will explain after why I wasn't 100% sold on that. If you chose 3, boy, I was lost. For a while there, I thought I was never going to get out. Although nearly everyone has a rough year or 2 growing up, you took worrying about life to the extremes, dwelling on problems that existed only in your head and torturing yourself with second guesses and self-doubt. That may have added a certain amount of seriousness and depth to your character, but now it's time for you to loosen up and enjoy life. You've earned it. And finally, if you chose 4, I hooked up with a group of people inside and they showed me the way out. Otherwise, I might still be in there. So I was also leaning towards 4. And it says, the reason for the satisfaction you feel in life today lies with the friends you made and the relationships you formed during your youth. You had your worries like everyone else, but it seemed there was always someone for you to turn to when things got tough. Be grateful for the good luck you've had so far. Now it's your turn to return the favor and be there for others in need. I like that. I think both are accurate for me because the reason why 2 was appealing, but I didn't like the way they phrased the ending, how they said, well, it took a while to get through, but looking back, I guess it was really no big deal. I didn't like the way they said that. I just found that it made it seem like you're not impressed, like, well, no big deal. I think they should have said, like, wow, that took a while to get through, but looking back, it wasn't as challenging or something, I just didn't like the phrasing of that, which is why number 4 also called to me. And I think I would say that that's accurate. feel about these tests? Are you like me and you're like sort of cheating by picking two answers? It's difficult. Okay. Now finally, we have one called Like a Monkey in a Cage, but for some reason, I feel like we've done this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. The reason I'm not sure is because sometimes when these tests were particularly short, like this one, it doesn't even call for a multiple choice. Sometimes I remember sneaking these tests into my follow my instructions video because I don't only put Kokology tests in these imagination personality test videos. I snuck a few of them into my follow my instructions videos. So this one seems familiar in that sense, but you let me know. Either way, this is a bonus test. We're not getting it all to the second book, but hopefully you enjoy this final test. Like a monkey in a cage. They say that the eyes are the windows to the soul, and that is true of animals as well as man. When you look into the eyes of a friendly dog, it seems to be begging you to play, while if you stare into the eyes of a cat, it looks back with cool indifference. Depends. Animals have feelings and personalities just like humans, and if we could only heed our eyes, we'd see how close our worlds really are. I'm not sure if we've done this, but here's the question. And it's not multiple choice. So it says, you are strolling through a zoo, watching the animals in their cages. You stop in front of a single monkey in its cage and your eyes meet. The expression in its eyes seems to be communicating something. What is the monkey trying to tell you? So imagine strolling through the zoo, watching the animals. You stop in front of a single monkey in a cage, and your eyes meet. The expression in its eyes seemed to be communicating something. What is the monkey trying to tell you? This test is making me a little depressed. Okay. If you have that imagined, now we're ready to find out the key to Like a Monkey in a Cage. Okay. Caged animals are mentally associated with the loss of freedom and restraints placed on our natural instincts by society. And because they are human-like in so many ways, it is particularly easy for us to empathize and identify with monkeys. The message the monkey was sending corresponds to your true feelings about the restrictions on your freedom. Specifically, they are words you'd like but are unable to say about a company, a group, or a social system that you feel is ruining your life. Or is it running your life? Do any of these answers sound familiar? So they're going to give examples. If you weren't exactly clear, let's see what they say. So if the monkey said, boy, I'd like a banana, you're easily pleased and therefore easily controlled. Hold out for more and you might be surprised at how much you're worth to others. Who knows, you might even get 2 bananas. If the monkey said, all right, move along, nothing to see here. It's not the pressure of conforming to society's rules that gets to you as much as it is the lack of privacy. Don't be afraid to go off by yourself to be alone with your thoughts from time to time. You're only a single monkey. The zoo will survive for a while without you. If you said, I think I'm going crazy in this cage, get me out of here. As a licensed cocologist, I'm prescribing you a long vacation on a nice quiet island. Take it. No, because I would think that the monkey was communicating to me with like sadness in its eyes, as if to say like, I wish to be free. So it's not about going crazy in the cage, but I don't think any creature wants to be caged. So to me, the monkey was communicating to me to be out of the cage, like with its eyes, just like communicating, like release me, which was why I was feeling sad. Ending on a little bit of a sad note. I don't know what that says about me. Sometimes when they're not the multiple choice questions, the answers can be open to our own interpretations, but guys, I can't believe we finished everything here. What was this one? I think 82 I crossed off, but I wasn't sure if we've done either. Let's just quickly see. Just to really be sure. Oh yeah, this is about a seal in a marine park, so let's not even go there. But we finished this book. Oh my gosh. I'm so sad about that because it feels like really the ending of an era, you know? I mean, before I even knew this book existed, I was doing these imagination personality tests with you all. And I would look online for tests, and I think the original test was the cube personality test. It's like the most famous one, where it has you really visualize certain things. And I remember falling in love with these tests because when I was in Italy back in like 2010, I did this with my cousin. I think 2010 or 2011. I did a test like this with my cousin and all their friends. We all sat around and one of my cousins asked us for the answer, and then we all shared, and it was like a really fun group activity. Actually, it was really funny. And yeah, ever since then I've just been like so hooked on Kokology tests. I just thought they were like the coolest things ever, and that's when I didn't even know what the heck they were called. I'm sure they go by many names, as I said: scenic, guided personality tests, or visualization tests, or Kokology is just the easiest one. Upon discovering the name Kokology, I of course found these books, and the rest is history. I love this series, and of course it will continue with the Kokology 2 book. I have it downloaded, but in any case, as I said before, pretty sure I want to buy it to have the physical copy in my hand. But yeah, thank you so much for being here and for going on this Kokology journey with me. I have all of these in a playlist, which maybe I'll just link after the video so you can find them. But have you done all of these Kokology tests with me? And if so, are you sick of when I preface them in the beginning and you're like, just get to the test? I preface them so no one feels left out if they're new to clicking, but I do think that these tests have a certain cult following with you guys, so I just love them so much. And yeah, I'm so happy to be here with you and to spend time with you doing these tests. It's so rewarding and so, it just like it satisfies my curiosity and my need to discover things about myself, you know? So yeah, thank you for being here, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next Kokology video where we start a new book. So exciting, because we'll get back some of those really like longer tests that are, you know, they require you to be more imaginative rather than just answering a quick question or answering a quick multiple choice. They're more like those journeys, and I like that. So yeah, ramble, but thank you for being here, and stay safe and be well, and I'll see you again soon. Bye. Bye. Hi. Hello. Hi. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I am lulling Lisa, hoping to lull you into a state of relaxation, sleep, or just entertainment through ASMR. We're back with another Kokology test from our Kokology book. And let's just get into it, shall we? Let's try to do tests closer to the beginning so that I can sort of keep some kind of order in here. But as you know, this is a game of self-discovery designed to reveal your hidden attitudes about sex, family, love, work, and more. So, let's do some tests. Last time we did a long one, so maybe today we'll do maybe like 2 or so, maybe multiple choice ones. We'll mix it up a bit, starting at the very beginning actually. So this is the first test in this book. Now I ask you to think of the first thing that comes into your mind. I'm going to try this time. Try not to be too logical, but rather instinctual. And hopefully you're in a nice, relaxing environment. That way you can really focus on what's being asked. Now this test is called, when is a door not a door? It isn't every day that you have the time to take a leisurely stroll around the neighborhood. A stroll without purpose or destination. A chance to stretch the legs, let the mind wander, and get acquainted with some old familiar sights. I would argue that you could do that quite often. I almost always take a stroll around the neighborhood. On your way perhaps, which this is what I don't do, on your way perhaps you'd stop in at a cozy coffee shop, explore the paths of a favorite park, or take the opportunity to do some window shopping. Then there are those days when it's enough to just let your feet decide your course. Interesting. Picture yourself on a stroll through town. The day is beautiful and you're half lost in a daydream. You turn onto a street that you've never been down before, and as you walk, you pass a beautiful house and set somewhat back from the street. Pausing a moment to admire this lovely home, you notice the door is half open. Why is the door ajar? So, you're strolling through town, the day is beautiful, you're half lost in a daydream, you turn onto a street you've never been before, and you walk past a beautiful house set somewhat back from the street. Pausing a moment to admire this lovely home, you notice the door is half open. Why is the door ajar? Why is the door open? 3 things to pick from here, okay? So this is multiple choice. 1, the house is being burglarized. 2, the owner forgot to close it. 3, the owner is inside, sweeping out the entranceway. I'll read you that again just in case. 1, the house is being burglarized or robbed. 2, the owner forgot to close the door. 3, the owner is inside, sweeping out the entranceway. Here is the key to when is a door not a door. Doors have a twofold significance. They may be passageways, but they can be barriers as well. In particular, the front door of a house represents its first line of defense, all that stands between its inhabitants and the uncertainties of the world outside. By imagining as open a door that should normally be closed, you envision a scenario of vulnerability and exposure. On a subconscious level, the reason you imagine for the door being opened is linked to the ways that you leave yourself open and expose your own weaknesses to others. So, let's find out the meaning of each one you picked. If you said 1, the house is being burglarized, this means you instantly assume the worst in any situation, and this trait is nowhere more evident then when things actually do go wrong, you never get flustered in a crisis, but only because you're much too busy panicking. So the next time a disaster strikes, it's important to keep a clear head and remember to take a few deep breaths and count to 10. Then you can faint. Did you say this, number 1? Next, number 2. The owner forgot to close it. You aren't the type to get carried away in crisis situations. On the contrary, you're so relaxed that you may not notice a crisis is occurring at all. The mistakes you make are caused more by oversight than bad intentions, but the end results for you and the people around you are the same. Interesting. Did you say number 2? At the end, I will reveal my answer. 3. The owner is inside, sweeping out the entranceway. So this says, you may appear to be a laid-back sort, but you never let your guard down. Achieving that constant state of relaxed alertness is what has made you into the mature individual that you are. Of course, you still have your human weaknesses, you just don't put them on display for all the world to see. Did you say number 3? I will now reveal my answer because with multiple choice I find it hard because sometimes I picture something that is not given as an option. So the first thing I pictured was that the door was open because the owner was like putting groceries in the house. And then when I had to pick between the numbers, I thought the most likely of that scenario would have fallen between 2 and 3, but I said most likely 3 because it's not that the owner would have forgotten to close it, it's just that they were doing something before they could close the door. So I ultimately picked 3, and in this scenario, I found 3 to be accurate. So when I went with my instinct that the owner was putting groceries away and then could relate this down to a specific answer, it was the most true. I was drawn to the answer the owner forgot to close it. But going with my first instinct, it would have made more sense that the owner was sweeping out the entranceway, meaning they were doing an activity before they could close the door, much like grocery shopping, in which case, number 3 would be the most accurate way to describe myself, I feel like. So, did you find this test accurate? For me, I did. So, I'm going to try to be more instinctual, okay? Now, that was pretty good. Let's do the next test in the book. I'm just going to go in order right now, even though I didn't in the past, but let's go a little bit in order. I think this gives you some options, so it's multiple choice, but it's a little different, you'll see, from what I can briefly see. And this is called, so this new test is called Postmarked, the future. Lounging around the house one Saturday afternoon, you are startled out of your reverie by the doorbell. Ding dong. When you open the door, you're greeted by the most unusual surprise. A pair of animal messengers has come to deliver news of your life in the future. This sounds familiar. But when you open their messages, you see they contain very different predictions of what lies in store for you. Stressful. One of the animals has brought a letter foretelling a life of happiness and contentment, while the other prophesizes only disaster and despair. Which of the animals below brought glad tidings and which an omen of doom? Pick a different animal for each. I feel like we did a test in the past Kokology book that was very similar, but I don't remember anymore, so. Okay. They give you 5 animals to choose from, so from the 5 animals, you must pick which one gives you a good omen and which one gives you a bad omen. Okay. Number 1, tiger. Number 2, dog. Number 3, sheep. Number 4, parrot. Number 5, tortoise. So out of these 5 animals, which is giving you good news and which is giving you bad news? I'll read that again. 1, tiger. 2, dog. 3, sheep. 4, parrot. 5, tortoise. I'm just going to try to go with my first instinct, even though sometimes I want to change my answer. Okay, the test is over. Now let's read the key to postmarked the future. For most people, the future is greatly influenced by their selection of a mate or life partner. The animal messengers in this scenario actually correspond to your own perceptions of the kinds of people likely to bring you joy and grief. Man, this sounds really familiar. I hope there's not too many repeats in this book, but animals are rich and complex in psychological significance, with a range of positive and negative attributes and associations. In this scenario, the animal you chose as the bearer of the message of happiness represents the type of person you perceive as an ideal spouse. So the first animal, the one that you said brought you good news, represents the type of person you perceive as an ideal spouse, while the doomsayer animal is the type you fear would drag you down into the depths. So the second animal is the bad animal that you chose, is the type of person you fear would drag you down into the depths. So let's go. I'm going to read you each animal, and I'm going to read you if you said good or bad about each animal. I said dog as good and parrot as bad. I always had a feeling to change it, but it was hard for me. There's a few secondary ones, but let's try to stick with our guns here. So, if you chose 1, tiger, the good tiding is that you see yourself happiest, with an ambitious and powerful mate, possessed of an indomitable will to rule. If you pick tiger for the bad, the gloom and doom says you dread the prospect of a vain, tyrannical partner who struts around like a lord of the jungle and growls at any mention of sharing the housework. Okay. Next, if you pick dog as the good tiding, this says unquestioning loyalty and absolute devotion are the things you seek most in your mate. That's true. If you pick the dog as the bad one, the doom and gloom says you are utterly incompatible with those who try to please everyone and fret over what others might be thinking. Interesting. Next, if you said 3 sheep as the good tiding, this says you see the key to contentment in a warm-hearted, nurturing spouse. If you pick sheep as the bad one or doom and gloom, it says you fear winding up stuck with a boring homebody, content to spend each day grazing the same old patch of grass. Okay, next. My foot's falling asleep here. Next, if you said number 4, parrot for the good tiding, this says nothing would suit you better than a talkative, fun-loving partner who knows how to make you laugh. If you picked parrot like me for the bad one, the doom and gloom, this says no one could suit you worse than a chattering layabout with a severe allergy to work. I don't know, maybe. I don't know. Okay. Lastly, 5, tortoise. If you pick tortoise for the good tiding, this says your match made in heaven is serious, dependable, and sure to be there in your hour of need. If you pick tortoise as your doom and gloom, this says prospect of a lifetime spent with a frustratingly slow-moving, slow-witted partner is your worst nightmare. I almost said tiger and tortoise as the bad ones, and I almost said sheep as the good one other than dog. So interesting, and I feel like that could also have been accurate as well. Interesting. I do get major deja vu in this test. So in the first test we did together, I didn't have that familiarity. But in the first Kokology video of the second book that we did together, I also got the deja vu feeling. I hope these are not going to be repetitive. I hope. But only time will tell as we're just dipping our feet into this Kokology 2 book. So, yeah, that was the test. They were both short and sweet. Very interesting, and I did find both actually this time to be accurate. What about you? Did you find them to be accurate? Please let me know. I love also hearing from you and reading your answers. It's always super fun for me. Sometimes since I pre-film these videos, I forget what the answers mean. Or like if you just say like, oh, I picked dog and sheep, I forget sometimes what I was even saying. So, but I still wanna learn what you said. In this case, I will remember that I picked dog and parrot, so the good and the bad. So if you picked what I picked, let me know. But anyhow, thank you so much for being here. I wish you lots of relaxation and peace in your life, and I hope that you're having a wonderful month.